Hello, Barinholtz brothers. How are you?
Hi, Bonnie.
Bonnie,
How are you?
They saved the Canadians for last because they know that you are our favorites.
Yes.
Well, and we are the best, I have to say. But I gotta say, first of all, I love the series. I laughed hysterically.
Thank you.
You don't need to be from Chicago to love it. John, want to take it? Because was it an easy sell to Netflix?
Yes. I mean, we sold the show to them in true form to what this group is all about, which is a good meal of, a fire alarm had gone off in the Netflix building when we were literally in the pitch room, and we had the whole building had to evacuate. And our executive at Netflix, Elizabeth Porter, who's also a Chicagoan, was like, "Hey, should we just go across the street and do this pitch in that Denny's right there?" So we did this pitch in a Denny's on Sunset Boulevard, and over a nice meal of a zipper omelet and some moons over my hammies. And this show is such a joy to create, and I think Netflix saw it right away that, like, yes, it is Chicago and it's the Chicago party ant, but there is a Denver party ant and a Toronto party ant and a London party ant. This person exists in everyone's lives across the whole world, and the rest is
exactly. Yeah. And I, for you to everyone needs a Diane in their life. Now, do you guys, when you were growing up, did you have kind of like an Aunt Diane or somebody like her that you got to hang with her?
We had, rest in peace, the late great Uncle Bernie, who was just kind of this quintessential Chicago character. He was a cop for like a beat cop, like would walk up and down the sidewalk for 30 years.
Right.
And he was the guy who would always say something so inappropriate, like right at the start of, as we sat down for Thanksgiving dinner, that would leave the kids like crying, laughing, and the parents being like, "Bernie, come on, man, don't say that." He was just this larger than life character who every room he came into, there were definitely some people who were like, "Oh shit," but then there were a lot of people who were like, "Yes." and I think, even though this is based off of Chris Wataski's one of his aunts or an amalgam of his aunts, like John said, you got your party uncle, you got your party cousin, you got your party neighbor, you got that person in your life who they really mess things up sometimes, but goddamn, they're fun.
Absolutely. It actually reminds me of my dad a little bit too. There's no question. I can totally relate to what you're saying there. Now, John, I just spoke to Lauren and Rory, and we were talking about, because the great Lauren Ash is from Toronto. We can't, can't ignore that. And we got a lot of funny people that come out of Toronto, as you both know. But I want to know, because we discussed this, and I'm going to get a writer's credit, so just keep that in mind. We need a Canadian adventure for Diane and Daniel. What would that be?
Absolutely. I mean, there's such great connectivity between specifically Chicago and Toronto, right? They're very similar feels, I think, of cities too. Yeah. I think we can figure that out. Toronto has a baseball team. Diane's a baseball fan. Maybe it's an away game. Who knows? I like one where Diane, they have to go to Detroit and she's dreading it. And she accidentally goes to Windsor and is like, "Oh, Detroit is beautiful. I love it. The people are so nice. Great casino."
I think we've got something going here.
Yeah, it sounds like season 3 opener, if you ask me.
Yeah, I completely agree. Why do you think people were connecting with this Twitter feed, John? Because, it really was a huge, huge hit.
I mean, I think it just, this voice is so specific, right? Like we just said, like, we know this figure in our lives, and like the mix of the specificity of the Chicago-ness versus the universality of this character and point of view, I think it's just like the perfect special sauce, where even if, I think a lot of the followers at first were Chicagoans, but like even outsiders, once like Colbert and like other Chicagoans were tweeting it, I think outsiders were like, "Oh, I don't know the sandwich spot that she's talking about, but I know exactly what she's talking about."
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. Well, listen, congratulations. It's going to be a huge success. It's a pleasure to talk to you both today. And I love hearing your voices in the show too. So thank you for that. And John, I just quickly got to say, I really miss Superstore. I love that show. You was great. But
what about the Mindy Project?
Well, the Mindy Project, yeah. I mean, I'm going a little bit, closer to what we just lost. But the Mindy
I hear you. I shouldn't have asked. I'm embarrassed I asked.
No, don't be embarrassed. I love you both. Thank you so much.
Bonnie, thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
Take care.
Okay.